Most people think sexual magnetism comes from beauty, from the body, from a perfect scent, or from the right choice of words. But what if I told you that's completely wrong? The truth is far more mysterious, and Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists of the 20th century, revealed why. True magnetism has nothing to do with appearances. It has everything to do with psychic energy, the invisible force that you cannot fake. Once you understand this, you'll see why some people are unforgettable, while others vanish from memory, no matter how beautiful they look. Jung once said, "What you repress controls you. What you integrate radiates from you." And that radiation, the subtle glow you can't see, but always feel, is the real source of attraction. Think about it. A person can be physically stunning, but if the energy behind them is insecure, it becomes repulsive. On the other hand, someone with modest looks can appear magnetic because their energy is whole, centered, and powerful. Magnetism is not about what you show, it's about what you carry inside. It comes from silence that feels full of presence, from a gaze that cuts through invisible layers of the other person's soul. It is the art of holding desire without rushing, holding fear without breaking, holding the urge to please without surrendering to it. Magnetism is mastery of inner tension, the tension between impulse and self-control, between desire and purpose, between reaching out and waiting. Carl Jung described the unconscious as a living reservoir. Everything you repress, hide, or ignore does not disappear, continues to work beneath the surface. That is why some people seem to radiate a strange, unexplainable attraction. They have integrated their fears, instincts, and shadows. This gives them depth you can feel. Ask yourself, do people sense layers in you? Or do they only see a shell covering emptiness? Because the body only expresses what the soul already contains. This is why imitating style, copying patterns of seduction, or rehearsing clever gestures never truly works. Without real energy behind it, nothing convinces. What attracts is not the gesture itself, but the inner state from which it naturally arises. Carl Jung also spoke of archetypes and autonomous complexes, parts of personality that live within us. A person full of unresolved complexes radiates only confusion, but an integrated person radiates order, depth, and stability, and people are instinctively drawn to that. So, how do you begin building real magnetism? Rule number 1, do not move first. Do not explain yourself first. Most people fear silence and rush to justify themselves. But true magnetism begins with those who can hold silence without wavering. Before we go deeper, make sure you subscribe to my channel Syc Soul, because what you're about to learn from Carl Jung's psychology will change the way you see attraction forever. When you walk into a room and feel compelled to talk just to be accepted, you lose magnetism. Why? Because your energy bends to others' expectations. The opposite is what attracts. The calmness of someone who does not adapt, who stays grounded even in discomfort. That stability creates curiosity, and curiosity is always the doorway to desire. So now you know the first rule of magnetism is to not move first and to resist the urge to explain yourself. But why does this matter so much? Carl Jung helps us understand. When you break silence too quickly, what you really show is insecurity. You're revealing that your energy bends under pressure, that you cannot hold tension. And magnetism is all about holding tension. Jung explained that our unconscious is constantly leaking signals into the world. People might not consciously notice it, but they feel it through your eyes, your posture, and even your pauses. This is why people who appear calm in silence seem so magnetic. They are not rushing to adapt. They are radiating stability. And stability in a chaotic world is deeply attractive. Think of it this way. Most people are like leaves in the wind, blown around by other people's opinions and emotions. But the rare person who remains grounded, who can stay still while others panic, this person becomes the center of gravity in every room. People naturally orbit around them. Carl Jung would call this the power of an integrated self, when your unconscious no longer controls you in secret, but works together with your conscious mind. And here's the paradox. Attraction does not come from chasing. It comes from waiting. It comes from the strength to not react immediately, to let others move first, to let curiosity build in them. This creates a psychological vacuum, and humans are always drawn to fill a vacuum. Remember, what you repress controls you. If you repress your fear of being ignored, you will desperately seek attention. If you repress your fear of rejection, you will overcompensate with performance. But when you integrate those fears, you radiate a calm presence that says, I do not need to be chosen because I already choose myself. That presence is magnetic. Carl Jung also spoke of the persona, the mask we show to the world. Most people confuse the mask with the self. They believe attraction is about perfecting the mask, wearing the right clothes, saying the right lines, acting confident. But the unconscious always leaks through. If the mask is fake, the energy feels fake. True presence comes when the persona aligns with the deeper self, when what you show is real, not rehearsed. That's when even silence speaks. That's when even stillness attracts. So here's your second rule. Magnetism is not action, it's reaction. The less you do, the more powerful your energy feels, as long as you can hold it without breaking. And remember, people don't fall in love with what they see. They fall in love with what they feel when they're around you. We've seen that magnetism is not about chasing, but about holding presence. Now let's go deeper into one of Carl Jung's most fascinating ideas, the shadow. The shadow is everything you repress. It's the anger you deny, the desire you're ashamed of, the fear you refuse to admit. Most people try to bury these things, believing they can hide them. But here's the truth. What you hide doesn't disappear. It leaks. It shows up in your energy, in your micro-expressions, in the tiny cracks of your mask. And others feel it, even if they can't explain why. This is why so many attractive people fail to hold magnetism. Their appearance says one thing, but their shadow leaks another. The result? A strange mismatch that feels uncomfortable instead of compelling. Carl Jung taught that the only way to become whole is to integrate the shadow. That doesn't mean acting out every dark impulse. It means acknowledging it, owning it, and finding a place for it in your conscious life. Because once you do, the shadow stops controlling you. And when it stops controlling you, it begins to fuel your magnetism. Think about it. A person who has never faced their anger will always seem weak, no matter how nice they act. But someone who has integrated their anger, who knows its power and can control it, radiates strength. Not because they are aggressive, but because others sense they could be, yet choose not to. That's real power. And power is magnetic. This is why Jung believed attraction is tied to the depth of the unconscious. A shallow person with a shallow relationship to their shadow cannot hold attention for long. But a deep person who has met their inner demons and made peace with them becomes endlessly fascinating. You don't know why, but you feel there's more to discover in them. So ask yourself, what is in your shadow? What desires do you deny? What fears do you hide? What parts of yourself do you pretend don't exist? Because until you integrate them, your energy will always feel incomplete. Here's your third rule of magnetism. Do not fear your darkness. Instead, face it, integrate it, turn it into depth. Because depth is rare, and people are irresistibly drawn to what is rare. And remember, the more layers you carry within, the more layers others will want to uncover in you. Carl Jung believed that human beings are not just individuals. We are carriers of ancient patterns called archetypes. Archetypes are universal images and instincts that live in the collective unconscious. They are the hero, the lover, the king, the trickster, the timeless roles that shape human behavior and attraction. Why does this matter for magnetism? Because when someone embodies an archetype, people instantly feel it. They may not consciously understand it, but they recognize it in their soul. Think of the lover archetype. It's not just about romance, it's about intensity, passion, and presence. Someone who embodies it radiates an energy that says, "I am alive, and I want to draw you into life with me." That's magnetic. Or the king archetype. This is not about domination. It's about order, protection, and authority. When someone carries this energy, others naturally trust and follow them. Their presence stabilizes the environment, just like gravity pulls planets into orbit. The mistake most people make is trying to act like an archetype. They copy behaviors, words, or styles. But archetypes are not costumes. They are energies that must rise from within. Carl Jung warned that when the persona, the outer mask, doesn't match the inner archetype, people sense falseness, and falseness repels. But when the persona aligns with an inner archetype, the effect is electric. People don't just see you, they feel you. They feel the lover in your gaze, the king in your stillness, the warrior in your discipline. Attraction happens not because of what you say, but because of the ancient language your soul speaks. This is why integrating the unconscious is so important. Until you face your shadow and unlock your depth, you cannot embody an archetype fully. You remain stuck in surface-level gestures. But when you integrate, the archetype flows through you effortlessly. You don't perform, you are it. So here's your fourth rule of magnetism. Step into your archetype. Ask yourself, what energy are you radiating? The lover who awakens desire? The king who brings order? The sage who carries wisdom? Or the trickster who shakes the ground with unpredictability? Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And when you embody your true archetype, you stop chasing attraction. Attraction begins chasing you, because archetypes are not just symbols. They are the ancient language of the soul, and every soul longs to hear it again. One of the most magnetic forces in the human psyche is polarity, the tension between opposites. Carl Jung often spoke of this as the union of opposites: masculine and feminine, light and shadow, order and chaos. Attraction thrives in this polarity. Why? Because energy flows where differences exist. Just like electricity needs positive and negative charges, human magnetism needs contrast. Without polarity, there is no spark. Think of relationships where both people are too similar, both passive, both cautious, both avoiding risk. The energy feels flat, lifeless. Now think of a relationship where one carries stability while the other brings unpredictability. That tension creates intensity. The opposites don't cancel each other, they fuel each other. Carl Jung described the anima and animus, the inner feminine in men and the inner masculine in women. He believed we carry both energies inside us. An attraction often happens when we meet someone who embodies the energy we've repressed within ourselves. That is why a man disconnected from his feminine side may be irresistibly drawn to a deeply feminine woman. She mirrors his hidden self, and the same is true in reverse. This is not about gender roles, it's about energy. Masculine energy is direction, focus, and presence. Feminine energy is flow, openness, and depth. Both live inside all of us. But when two people embody opposite poles strongly, the tension between them becomes magnetic. The problem is, modern culture often teaches us to suppress polarity, to avoid extremes, to balance everything. But magnetism doesn't live in neutrality. It lives in contrast. Carl Jung warned that when we repress one pole of our nature, the unconscious pushes us to seek it in others. That is why attraction feels so mysterious. It is often your own denied energy calling to you through another person. Here's your fifth rule of magnetism. Embrace polarity. Do not dilute your energy to be more acceptable. If your energy is intense, let it be intense. If it is soft and nurturing, let it be soft and nurturing. The more authentic your pole, the stronger the magnetic charge you create. And remember, people don't fall in love with balance. They fall in love with tension, the dance between what they are and what they are not. That dance awakens something ancient in the psyche. Carl Jung put it best. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Polarity is the spark that begins that transformation. One of Carl Jung's most powerful insights is the concept of projection. He explained that when we meet someone, we don't see them as they truly are. We see them through the lens of our unconscious. We project our own hidden qualities onto them. This explains why attraction often feels so mysterious, even irrational. When you're drawn to someone, it's usually because they reflect a part of yourself you have not yet integrated. Jung said, "Meeting yourself in another person is what we call love." Think about it. You meet someone, and instantly they seem larger than life. Maybe they feel impossibly beautiful, unbelievably wise, or dangerously powerful. But is that who they really are? Or is that your unconscious projecting those qualities onto them? Projection is why people fall for unavailable partners, for celebrities, or even for strangers they barely know. It's not about the other person. It's about what your unconscious sees in them. They become a mirror of your unclaimed self. But here's the secret. Projection doesn't just make you attracted to others. It also makes others attracted to you. When you hold a strong presence, when you embody your archetypes and integrate your shadow, you become a powerful mirror for others. People start projecting their hidden qualities onto you. They may see in you their ideal lover, their lost parent, their hero, or even their savior. They feel magnetized, not because of who you are, but because of what they see of themselves in you. This is why Jung warned us to be careful with projections. They create intensity, but also illusion. Many relationships collapse when the projection fades, when people realize they were never in love with the real person, but with their own unconscious image. So how do you use this knowledge without being trapped by it? First, recognize when you are projecting. Ask yourself, am I seeing this person clearly, or am I seeing my own shadow, my own anima, my own hidden qualities in them? This awareness breaks the spell. Second, understand that being magnetic often means being a screen for projections. People will project onto you no matter what you do. The key is not to get lost in their image of you, but to stay rooted in your true self. Here's your sixth rule of magnetism. Be the mirror, but don't become the illusion. Let people feel transformed by your presence, but never confuse their projection with your identity. Because the strongest magnet is not the one who absorbs projections. It's the one who reflects them back without losing themselves. If there's one element that keeps magnetism alive, it's mystery. Carl Jung believed that the unconscious is vast, infinite, and largely unknowable. He often said that every human being is a mystery, even to themselves. And it's this mystery that makes us compelling. Why? Because the human mind is wired for curiosity. When something is completely revealed, it loses its power. But when something remains hidden, when there's more to discover, it becomes irresistible. Think about your favorite book or film. The reason you can revisit it again and again is not just because of what you know, it's because of what you still don't know. The unanswered questions, the subtle details, the hints of something deeper. That same principle applies to people. Carl Jung pointed out that people are not attracted to surfaces, but to depth. Depth is created by layers, the conscious, the shadow, the archetypes, the unspoken longings. A person who shows everything at once becomes flat, but a person who reveals themselves slowly, layer by layer, draws others in endlessly. This doesn't mean being fake or manipulative. It means respecting the fact that your inner world is infinite, and you don't need to put it all on display. When you hold something back, not out of fear, but out of depth, you create space for curiosity. And curiosity is magnetic. Jung once wrote, "The most intense conflicts, if overcome, leave behind a sense of security and calm that is not easily disturbed." Mystery works in a similar way. It creates tension, but the kind of tension people want to lean into. So here's your 7th rule of magnetism. Never kill the mystery. Let people feel there's more to you than what meets the eye. Share enough to connect, but never so much that nothing is left to discover. Because magnetism isn't about being fully known. It's about being endlessly discoverable. And remember this, your mystery is not something you need to manufacture. You are already infinite. Your unconscious is deeper than you will ever explore in one lifetime. Simply honor that truth, and others will sense it. They won't just see you, they'll feel the depth behind your eyes. And that depth will pull them closer, again and again. Because in the end, what is more magnetic than a living mystery? We have reached the final step in our journey through Carl Jung's psychology of magnetism. We've uncovered the shadow, the archetypes, the power of polarity, projection, and mystery. But now comes the real question. How do you put it all together? Jung believed that the goal of life is individuation, the process of becoming whole, of uniting all the parts of yourself into one authentic being. And this, more than anything else, is the source of true magnetism. Because magnetism is not about tricks, strategies, or manipulation. It's not about chasing attention. It's about becoming so whole, so real, and so alive that people can't help but feel drawn to you. You radiate something rare in authenticity that cannot be faked. Think about it. The person who has faced their shadow radiates depth. The one who embodies their archetype carries presence. The one who embraces polarity sparks intensity. The one who understands projection becomes a mirror for transformation. And the one who honors mystery remains endlessly fascinating. Put all of that together, and you don't just attract you, transform the space around you. People leave your presence different than when they arrived. They feel seen, awakened, and somehow more alive. That is real magnetism. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And when you walk that path, when you embrace your wholeness, you stop needing magnetism. You become magnetism. So here's your final rule. Do not chase. Do not pretend. Become. And now, I want to ask you something important. If this journey into Jung's psychology has opened something inside you, if you have felt the power of these insights and want to keep diving deeper, then join our community here on Syc Soul. Hit that subscribe button, tap like, and share this video with someone who needs to awaken their hidden magnetism. Because here on this Syc Soul, we explore the depths of the mind, the mysteries of the soul, and the secrets that unlock your true power. This is not just content, it's transformation. So take this step with us. Become part of this journey. And together, let's awaken the magnetism that has been waiting inside you all along. This is Syc Soul, and this is only the beginning.